Tonight on Q2, the future of healthcare.
Absolutely incredible to see what that's going to do for us to deliver healthcare into the future.
Plans unveiled as Intermountain Health is set to begin construction on the new state-of-the-art St. Vincents Hospital. Plus, left in disbelief.
We thought everything was looking a little more promising. I think we were all kind of blindsided by the number.
With hundreds of people laid off from the Stillwater mine, we'll hear from one family who's now forced to move out of the state just months after buying their dream home. And the dangers behind human trafficking.
Teaching the kids signs to look for, what to be aware of themselves, and then again being able to talk to their parents about it.
School District 2 looking to shine a spotlight on this increasing crime. The MTN 10 o'clock news starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday night. I'm Russ Riesinger. A major unveiling today as St. Vincents Regional Hospital announces plans for their brand new state-of-the-art facility. The new hospital, which begins construction next spring, will replace the current building set to open in 2029. Our Charlie Kleps was there to share how leaders hope this new hospital will change the medical landscape in Billings.
That brand new hospital won't be built far from where you're comfortable. It'll be right here in the heart of the medical corridor, basically right next door to the current St. Vi's Hospital. It was a time for celebration Tuesday morning.
True honor to be here.
At St. Vincent's Regional Hospital announced plans for a brand new 737,000 square foot facility that will replace their current building.
It's going to be second to none when it comes to providing quality, safe, really technical care.
Hospital President Lee Boyle says the new facility will add a new level to their care.
We'll be able to open up more beds, more rooms, more ORs as we continue to grow, as the community continues to grow.
But it isn't just the medical advancements Boyles and others are excited for.
Super excited what this means, not only from us in a healthcare delivery standpoint, but what it means economically.
You'll see more employment, more private investment. That's going to help drive our economy.
Big Sky Economic Development Director Steve Arviskow says that the new hospital will add to an already thriving industry. Currently, 20% of all jobs in Yellowstone County are related to healthcare.
This investment just takes that role and responsibility as that healthcare leader to a whole new level.
Not to mention a 5-year construction process, which will bring workers and their business to the Magic City.
They're not working 24/7. The rest of the time they're out spending money in our community. They become a part of our community.
The project is expected to cost nearly $1 billion, though an estimated specific number wasn't provided Tuesday. What was provided? Some excitement about the future. Something that leaves longtime Montanan Boyles overcome with emotion.
To be a part of building a hospital, that just doesn't happen all the time. Just the impact it'll have. My parents have come to St. V's ever since I was, little, so yeah, it's big.
In Billings, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
The American Lung Association reports that lung cancer is the leading cause of cancer death here in Montana. That data released as part of the State of Lung Cancer report. According to the report, the lung cancer survival rate rose 26% over the past 5 years. But when it comes to Montana, the state ranks 40th in the nation for lung cancer screening and 33rd for lack of treatment. Indigenous peoples in the state are most likely to be diagnosed with the disease. The report also called for states, including Montana, to pass legislation requiring insurance companies to cover biomarker screening. Tonight, School District 2 highlighting the dangers behind human trafficking. Superintendent Dr. Erwin Garcia hosting the community meeting with the group Northern Lights, hoping to educate parents and students on this growing crime. In fact, according to the Montana Department of Justice, human trafficking increased in Montana from 7 cases in 2015 to 143 cases in 2023. That's an increase of some 1,900%. New at 10, our David J. has more on the warning signs so our future generations don't fall victim.
Dr. Garcia has been having some community meetings to deal with safety, inviting parents and teachers. And on this night at the Career Center, he dealt with human trafficking.
This is my mom. She was 4 years old in this picture. Within a year, she would be raped by a male family member and sold to neighboring farm boys for the next 4 years of her life.
Penny Ronning, co-founder of the Yellowstone County Area Human Trafficking Task Force, talked about the trauma that child sexual abuse victims suffer.
Damage happens to hips. Damage happens to the spine. Damage happens to the shoulders. Damage happens to internal organs.
And she says victims get misdiagnosed for much of his or her life. Ronning spoke at Superintendent Garcia's community meeting on protecting kids from human trafficking.
Social media, cell phones, multiple social media applications where predators are looking to get the attention of our children, and in many instances take advantage of them.
Kids have access to it every day, all day long, and the percentage is really scary.
Taya Keith is a coordinator at the Northern Lights Justice Center, which provides a safe place for children and adults experiencing trauma.
Kids are bombarded with porn and just adults that are pretending to be kids, and things like sextortion, and I mean, it is alarming.
She advises talking with children and checking phones and other devices, something Garcia also recommends.
Extortion happens, so we want to make sure that our families are aware that this is a real issue in our community.
We've got a long way to go before we actually really address sexual violence in our country.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
We still have a lot of details to work out on this, but here's the trend next week. That would be Tuesday through Friday, right on through Thanksgiving into Black Friday. We're running a 60 to 80% chance of colder than average temperatures. In fact, some of the readings could be certainly the chilliest we've seen so far this season, but really isn't saying that much since it's been above average for pretty much the entire fall season. It's also leaning towards wetter than average conditions, especially as we get a little bit closer to Thanksgiving, and we may see a few showers building up to that as well. Could even affect travel as we start getting a little bit closer to the big game on Saturday if you're going to be traveling to Bozeman. We'll talk about that and the rest of the forecast details coming up.
1 week after hundreds of layoffs at the Siboney-Stillwater mine near Nye, the communities of Absaroka, Columbus, and Big Timber are still reeling. According to the Montana Department of Labor and Industry, those 700 laid-off workers account for 16% of all mining jobs statewide in what is Montana's highest-paying industry. And the impacts are being felt across southern Montana. More than half of all jobs in Stillwater County and 37% of all jobs in Sweetgrass County are worked by people residing in nearby cities such as Billings, Laurel, and Livingston. MTN's Andrea Lutz caught up with a Billings family caught in the crosshairs, now forced to pick up and move to start a new life out of state.
With moving boxes packed,
we still have a lot to do
and more to do.
We're leaving Thursday or Friday.
The Haney family will set out on a cross-country trip to South Carolina.
It's a 4-day trip, so.
The young family only lived in their newly built investment home for 4 months when Terry got the devastating news.
We thought everything was looking a little more promising. I think we were all kind of blindsided by the number.
Back in September, the Siboney-Stillwater mine handed pink slips to 700 miners, struggling to compete with slumping precious metals prices.
I was a miner. I was in the stopes, breaking the rock. There's a lot of guys who didn't know where they were going to go. Sorry.
Breaking rock and building bonds.
Brotherhood.
For 6 years at the mine.
Build those brother-like relationships with a lot of guys down there.
Shanda says their young family depended on his good-paying job.
So there were a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of just researching what our options kind of were. Finding a new career path for him and me maybe going back to work.
The couple thought they'd be growing their family in Montana, now facing a new path.
It's scary and it's hard. We've never left. I've never been farther than 3 hours from my mom.
But with support from other mine families and more boxes to pack up, they're embracing this new chapter.
He's faced a lot, and all those guys have faced a lot, and it just is like they work really hard for our families.
In Billings, Andrea Lutz, MTN News.
A downtown bar and music venue, Craft Local, is getting ready to shut its doors. That venue, which has been on Montana Avenue since 2017, will host its final show on December 14th of this year. The decision comes after Craft Local has seen a steady decline in attendance of music shows over the past 3 years. This announcement comes just weeks after another popular Montana Avenue venue, Uber Brew, was forced to shut its doors. By all means, Uber Brew's brewing company does remain open. And in a surprise announcement, Montana State University Billings Department of Athletics will discontinue the men's soccer program following the 2024-2025 academic year. In a release, the university says the decision comes following an analysis to align the department's expenses and resources. 32 student athletes will be impacted by the move, but the Yellow Jackets will honor all current men's soccer scholarships through degree completion or the exhaustion of eligibility. The department also says they'll work with those athletes if they choose to transfer. MSUB's athletic director saying it's all about economic resources and in no way a reflection on the program itself. The school will still have 14 remaining varsity athletic programs. Still to come on the MTN 10 o'clock news here on Q2, the potential delisting of grizzlies continues to be a hot topic with a decision expected in January. Next, we hear of the impact it could have on ranchers. And later, a unique piece of history will cross state lines and take you to one of the longest lasting trading posts. Just a